Okay, students, you are going to read the short story To Build a Fire by Jack London. I love this story so much, and I wish I could be there with you. You're going to get 10 to 15 annotations. Now, this whole document is quite long. Make sure the annotations go through the entire the entire text, and that it's not just at the very beginning. So, 10 to 15 annotations, and when you're done, you're going to go back and answer those four questions. Now, if I were there with you, I would stop the audio multiple times. We talk about it and then we would break it up a little bit. We're not going to do that. I'm just going to have the sub press play. The audio is quite long. Um, but just sit through the entire thing. Make sure you're following along wherever the audio is. That's where I'm expecting your screens to be. No phones are supposed to be out at this point. Make sure you're not playing other video games. Like, please make sure you are on task. I love this short story, To Build a Fire. It's by Jack London. He wrote it, I believe, in 1908. I think it's one of his best stories that he ever wrote. So this is our boy Jack London. He was an adventurer. He lived in San Francisco when he lived like turn of the century, 18. I'm sorry, early late 1800s, early 1900s. He participated in the gold rush. So a few things about it. Oh, we're not going to watch this, but yeah. Maybe at the end of this unit, you're going to watch Harrison Ford and this horribly CGI dog named Buck. We're not going to watch that trailer right now. But here's the thing: naturalism. This is the first and only book you're going to read in my class, like an English major, and To Build a Fire is going to go through this idea of naturalism. Uh, he Jack London was a naturalist, which is a whole philosophy. I'll make a video on that later. But naturalism is this I like it's not this sort of babbling brook, sunsetting. It's beautiful out there. There's parts of that in there. There's going to be moments of beauty in here, but it's more like this sort of nature where where it's survival of the fittest. It's kill or be killed, and it's pretty brutal and it's pretty violent. And for whatever reason, this brutal, bleak, depressing literature just speaks to my soul. So naturalism is the harshest nature you can think of. So get ready for a hailstorm, firestorm, superstorm, snowstorm, worst kind of weather storm you can imagine of bleakness. Get ready for a polar vortex of sorrow. The hurricane's name is naturalism, and it's going to blow your home to smithereens and make you an orphan, and you're going to have to become a beggar. It is fun stuff. It's depressing, but it's so beautiful. Okay, so there's a trailer I'm not going to show you, but 127 hours. I don't know if you know the story of Aaron Ralston, the guy who went canyoneering in central Utah. I've done it before. The canyon's not that hard, but he just had a freak accident. The stone rolled over, a chalk stone rolled over on his arm, and he had to cut his arm off in order to survive. He was stuck in that canyon for 127 hours. I can't show that video to you. Sorry about that. Um, I guess James Franco. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, let's do a little bit of it. Yeah. By the way, canyons aren't really like this. There is no canyon in the world that's like that. That is fiction. Canyon water is dark and sludgy and scary, with dead animals in there. It's not beautiful and clear. Anyway, the rock falls on him, and now he's stuck, and he's got to cut his arm off. And guess what? He does, because he is a naturalist. And then he's got his amputated arm, prosthetic arm right there, and he tells that story. These are the types of story. It's humans versus nature. And oftentimes, nature is going to win. So describe your very coldest moment. When was the coldest you ever were? Mine was on a summer a few years ago in Zion National Park. It was June. It was 105 degrees outside. This canyon is called Lake Canyon, and it took us 15 hours to send it. It was right after a storm. and it was full of just recent canyon water, and it was so, so, so cold. I was wearing a 5 millimeter wetsuit and another wetsuit over that, and it's 110 or 105 degrees outside. But deep in that canyon, it had been in that water for so long, we were shivering at about hour 12. It was the coldest I have ever been, despite being in southern Utah, 100 degrees outside in June. It is cold. Now, our story takes place in the Yukon. And if you look on our map up here, oh, here's cute little Utah over here. The further north we get, it's colder. Here's Canada, and there is the Yukon right next to Alaska. This story takes place during the gold rush, so late 1800s over here in the Yukon, and it gets freaking cold. Wrong button. Like -75. Our protagonist, who was unnamed, he's -75 degrees. The coldest I've been in is like -17, and when you breathe in, the snot in your nose freezes whenever you breathe. Like it's so cold that when you spit, it grabs it. Like you all know this when it's -75 degrees and you're spitting, and you get like and you start to get like icicles on your beard. You guys have all experienced that before. This sort of cold, like Yukon Cornelius. Cold right here. So the sub is going to press play, and you're going to read the entire story. Make sure you are following along. It's a wonderful story. Also, the dog. Now, keep in mind in every story in American literature where a dog is involved, the dog does not survive. Please don't get attached to this dog. It will wreck you. Please don't get attached to the dog. All right, folks, enjoy this beautiful short story about a man going hiking in the woods with his doggo at -75 degrees. Nothing can go wrong. I promise you. Also, see if you can build a fire. Take care, folks. Have a great day.